What's up, humans, and welcome to a late night Psicoactivo. I hope you guys enjoyed my interview with Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell about the telepathy tapes. I think it's one of the topics that is closest to my heart. So I really hope you can see how passionate I am about all of this. But something has been happening that I cannot ignore over the last 6 or 7 days in the UK. Air Force bases within the UK that are protected by the Royal Air Force have been swarmed by what they're calling drones, but we don't really know what they are because they've been chased by F-15s multiple nights, and they're way faster than F-15s. We're talking about F-15 planes. Those are fighter jets, some of the fastest in the world. So tonight there was another little incursion that you could even hear a bang in the background. Here's the clip. Okay, so you see that it's orbs, kind of, and the Air Force planes cannot catch up to them. So I've seen some videos that have been mistaken for these drones, quote unquote. One of the videos that were shown are clearly Starlink satellites. Those are not the ones that we are covering here. I'm guessing that the video about the Starlink satellites was uploaded to the web to get the attention somewhere else, because this has been going on for 6 days now. They don't know what it is. We saw a recent statement from the Pentagon that I'm going to show you right now.
Getting U.S. bases, kind of swarming U.S. bases, challenging security. Do you believe they have hostile intent? Do you believe they were sent by a foreign adversary? What is happening with, what can you tell us about these drones?
What I would tell you, Jennifer, is that they are being actively monitored. Installation leaders have determined so far that none of these incursions impact the base residents, the facilities, or the assets that we have on those bases. We're, of course, continuing to work with host nation authorities and our mission partners to ensure the safety of our personnel, our facilities, and the equipment. You know, the bottom line is it's something that we're going to take seriously. We're continuing to look into it, but as of right now has not had any significant mission impact.
Why not shoot them down?
Well, I won't get into force protection measures. We, of course, always maintain the right to defend ourselves if we deem something to be a threat. But again, we'll continue to work with the local host nation authorities there.
Do you think it's linked to the drones that were sighted at 3 or 4 different locations back in December of last year that we reported on recently on the state side?
Yeah, I don't want to speculate and draw unnecessary connections. You know, again, this is something that we'll look into. As you know, small UASs, drones, have become something that's, you know, relatively common now across the landscape. It's something that the department has been looking closely at in terms of how it applies to our facilities, our personnel, whether it's in combat zones or outside of combat zones. But in terms of these particular incidents in the UK versus the ones in the States, you know, again, I don't want to speculate that there's any connection.
They don't appear to be those of hobbyists. Is that correct?
Again, it would be, you know, premature to draw any conclusions. We've got to see what these are. I mean, it's entirely possible that it could be hobbyists or something else. We just got to look into it. So come over here. Yes, sir.
Thank you, General.
But the bottom line is, again, still assessing what these are, and, just don't have anything further to pass along. I'd refer you to U.S. Air Forces in Europe, which I'm sure you're in contact with, just to keep in touch on the latest on that.
And can you share anything yet about how you guys are detecting or countering them?
Again, I don't want to get into the specifics in terms of tactics, techniques, and procedures as it relates to force protection. Certainly, we have a variety of means at our disposal, and we will protect our personnel and our facilities. But, again, just to kind of put this into context, even here in the United States, right, if there are drones that are being flown by hobbyists or some other entity, you want to make sure that you're doing due diligence not only to protect yourself and the safety of others, but also using appropriate measures in order to not inadvertently create second and third order effects. In other words, potentially harming the civilian communities in which we operate in and around. So again, right now, the assessment is that these drones have had no operational impact or safety impact on our personnel at any of these facilities. We're keeping a close eye on them. We're, of course, communicating very regularly with the UK host nation authorities, and we'll take appropriate measures, again, to protect our personnel and our people. Sure.
Just a quick follow-up. Have there been any drone incidents domestically since October?
That's a hard question to answer, Jen, because, the reality is on any given day, Pat Ryder, hobbyist drone pilot, can fly my drone next to a base and it's in and it's out. And is that a drone incident, or are we talking about something, more serious, where like the Langley incident, where there's multiple drones operating over a facility for multiple days? So, again, I don't have any statistics in front of me, but just the reality is that these small aircraft are now ubiquitous across the United States and the world. I have a very close relative of mine who's a drone pilot, and he flies his drone all over and does amateur photography. And what if that drone gets blown or carried by the wind too close to a facility, or they don't understand the FAA rules, et cetera, et cetera. So this is something that the department, the FAA, and others are looking at in this modern era of small aircraft. How do we make sure that we're responsibly protecting our assets while at the same time not assuming every single aircraft is going to be a threat? So thank you, Charlie.
Welcome back. I hate to go on about it too. However,
please do drone on.
I have to drone on. This is the third time in 2 weeks. They appear to be coordinated, persistent operations, not the work of a hobbyist. There are reports out of Britain that 60 military personnel have been deployed, 60 British personnel have been deployed. Does this come down to the MOD? Is it down to the Home Office? There are other ways of taking down drones without shooting them down.
Yeah, and you're right. And again, I won't speak for the MOD. And as I highlighted, of course, the U.S. Military are guests in England, in the United Kingdom, at the invitation of the government of the United Kingdom. So certainly working very closely with the authorities there. We are taking it seriously. We're monitoring, taking appropriate measures. Again, I'm not going to get into the specific TTPs in terms of when and if we feel that we need to take something down. At this point, the assessment is that these do not pose any type of effect on our operations or safety of our personnel. So I don't have an answer. I'd have to refer you to USAF, but it's not uncommon if we have small teams that go around the world that are specialists in various capabilities. So I don't have an answer to that question. But you've got RAF Mildenhall, RAF Lakenheath, RAF Feltwell. All those bases are in close proximity. Literally minutes away from each other. So, again, we'll continue to keep an eye on it. But as of right now, I would just, caution jumping to conclusions about what this is and who's doing it. And we'll just, continue to keep you updated.
I have an unrelated question. There are reports that the Russians.
This was just today, I think, and they don't know what these are. and they're not being overly alarmed about it. The thing is that a few minutes ago in Washington, D.C., this happened. Yeah. So it's happening in the UK near Air Force bases where there are a lot of weapons there and uranium storage there for nuclear weapons. And then here in Washington, D.C., we got a bunch of these also over the Capitol. What the hell is going on? Why aren't the mainstream media talking about this as they should be? I saw Sky News covering this, and I just want to know what is going on. The talk that I'm hearing in the background is that either these are really UFOs and they're just not talking about them openly. Some of the people that reported about this from the military said that they were harmless, that we shouldn't worry about them. What? These are drones, as you say, going over sensitive facilities from the Air Force, and we shouldn't worry about them? What are you talking about? So the other thing that I'm hearing, and this is something that cannot be proven, but we really can't say if it's not happening at all or if it's real at all. There's been a belief for many years that these so-called UFOs are already man-made tech. We saw in the Immaculate Constellation document, the first one that Schellenberger released before the hearings, they use the term ARV, and there's chatter within the open source Intel channels that some people believe that these may be UAP derived technology from humans. Still unclear on whether these are Russian or Chinese, if they are human tech, but they are way too fast for the F-15s. So we can assume that they may be UAP derived technology. If this is the case, I would say that this is the scariest of all the scenarios, because that means that humans cracked whatever this technology does in propulsion, and we don't know how long they've had it. If this is true, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying what is being talked about behind the scenes. I know that people like Ross Coulthart and Christopher Sharp from the Liberation Times have been reporting on this. And there are multiple reports of people that don't know what these are. There is a live stream going on that has been going on for a few days now that they even shouted out Clint Weldon from the Night Shift because they were talking about this, and they were like, you gotta follow Clint. He's like really covering this, and he's been the one who has been covering this the most, especially today. The YouTube page that has live streams is called Liberty Wing UK. I'm gonna put a picture of the profile there so you can follow them and you can see if they are streaming it. I don't think they are right now because they're in the UK, so it's really late right now, or early. It's about to be the morning there. But they have been streaming for a few days now, and that's where the bang came from. So shout out to Liberty Wing UK. But I gotta ask you guys, what do you think about this? What do you think is going on? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think about these drone swarmings. It's happening in the UK and recently, just minutes ago, in DC. Let me know in the comments. I know it's 2 videos today, but this one had to go out. It was important for it to go out. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can get notified when a new video drops. If you want to support the channel in any other way, I'm going to leave you a few links in the description so you can take your pick. Every help is always appreciated. And without further ado, I'll see you guys until tomorrow's video. Bye.